The black community is a fucking matriarchy, which is why it's failed for decades upon decades upon decades. During the Jim Crow era, when segregation was at its highest, the black community did the best. Why? Because the families stuck together, they were trying to make their own businesses, they were having their own communities. They stuck together. The family unit kept things going despite the fact that they had the most persecution, the most racism, the most segregation, the most animosity against them, but they did better back than they did now. You want to know why? Because it was a patriarchy. So when it comes to criticisms of me, right? And the situation where people say I have a lot of white supremacist talking points, right? Or I have white nationalist talking points, whatever the fuck. People say this stupid shit. The thing is, they don't really care about what I'm saying, chat. They dislike that it's me saying it. I'm gonna say that again for you guys. They don't really give a shit about what I'm saying. They have a bigger problem with me saying it because of what I look like and who I am. So instead of attacking my argument, like where I say, yo, black culture has some serious problems. They promote degeneracy. They promote using drugs. They promote selling drugs. They promote being in gangs. They promote killing each other. They promote, having kids out of wedlock. They don't promote the family. The father isn't around. They promote using welfare. All this shit. Right? When I talk about this stuff, they look at me and instead of saying, you know what, Myron, you're right about this, you know what they say?
You're a tether, nigga. You're a tether. You can't tell me about my community. You're a tether.
And this is why no one wants to talk to the black community. Because they focus more on who is saying the information versus the information. You know who else does that shit? Women. Women also do that shit. They care more about who is saying the information or how the information is said than the content of the information. You guys want to know why the black community behaves like this? Because it's run by women. That's another ugly ass fucking truth. The black community is a fucking matriarchy, which is why it's failed for decades upon decades upon decades. Since the civil rights era and the destruction of the nuclear family, okay? Because it's interesting how during the Jim Crow era, when segregation was at its highest, the black community did the best. Why? Because the families stuck together. They were trying to make their own businesses. They were having their own communities. They stuck together, okay? The family unit kept things going despite the fact that they had the most persecution, the most racism, the most segregation, the most animosity against them, but they did better back then than they did now. You want to know why? Because it was a patriarchy. That is why. But as always, when you put women in leadership roles, what do? They fuck everything up. And the reason why the black community has the problems that it has is because it's a fucking matriarchy. You got a bunch of emotional ass men with no fathers, with no real male role models, behaving like women.
Then he could talk shit. I'm gonna go after him.
And then he kills somebody. That person says, he killed my homie. Fuck that nigga. Then he goes and kills him, and it's an endless fucking cycle. Next thing you know, Bloods and Crips, lifelong beef. They're still fucking retaliating years later. King Von and his people, out of Chicago, killing each other over a decade, chat. Dirk just went to jail for it. Okay? So, the problem here is that it's a matriarchy. It's one of the problems. There's many problems. By the way, FYI, let me be very clear. This is a multifaceted, complex problem as to why niggas are fucking up. I'm simplifying it for y'all, but there's a bunch of reasons why niggas are fucking up. All right? But the one that a lot of people don't talk about often is because the black community is in itself a fucking matriarchy. We care too much about what black women gotta say. Fuck it. You have ratchet ass, fat, rude, rambunctious, crass women raising little boys. And a woman, no matter what they say, cannot teach a boy to become a man. I'm going to say that again. A woman cannot teach a boy how to become a man. All she's going to teach him how to be is a fucking feminine man who's emotionally erratic, violent, not able to control their emotions, and that, for a man, is destructive. Because here's the thing with women. When women beat the shit out of each other, it doesn't really matter. Not because I'm saying violence against women is okay. No, what I'm saying is that they don't have a proper grasp of violence. They can't really injure each other that bad. Does that make sense? When's the last time you heard of a woman beating the shit out of another woman and killing her with her fists? Never happens. Right? This is why lesbians beat each other up and get together after. They didn't really beat each other up that bad. Some scrapes, some cuts, but it's not real violence. Okay? It really isn't. Women are weak. They are. They're physically inferior. This is biology. So when they beat each other up, it's not that serious. Okay? And the reason why lesbians have the highest rates of domestic violence is because women don't have a proper concept of violence. Okay? Stick with me here. Women don't have a proper concept of violence. They don't understand that violence or fighting someone can lead to death. They just think, I'm going to fuck that bitch up. Pull her hair a little bit, mess up her makeup, whatever. Right? Men, however, much fucking different. With us, if you get into a physical confrontation, we know that you might die. Because we know that we are capable of real violence and the other guy's also capable of said violence. Okay? Every revolution's been fought by men for a fucking reason. Not by women. Because women don't understand lethality for real. Now, why is this important? Because remember that woman that doesn't have a proper concept of violence? Her dumbass behaves erratic. Her dumbass can't control her emotions. Her dumbass acts like a moron in front of her son. He grows up seeing that, thinks, oh, well, I could behave like this too. If someone speaks poorly about me, I'm going to do what my mom used to do. Fuck that bitch up. Now I'm going to fuck that nigga up. Ooh. Well, here's the problem with that one. When you go to fuck that nigga up, you're going to have to probably kill him. Because what's going to happen is, you're going to fuck his ass up. He's going to come back with his boys. They're going to jump you. Then you're going to go get your boys. You're going to jump them. And then next thing you know, it's going to be a shootout. It doesn't even get that far anymore. It used to be, let's shoot the ones. That's done now. Now it's, we just shoot you when we find you. Why do you guys think with the explosion of drill hip hop and what's going on, all these young guys are dying? Literally, teenage boys dying. Why? Because they were raised by women that can't control their emotions. But the problem is that when women get into violence or women do shit, people don't die because they're fucking inferior physically. But when men get into violent conflicts, people die because men are actually capable of real fucking violence. So what you have are women that don't deal with real consequences of violence, teaching boys that it's okay to behave like them, but they do deal with the real consequences of violence. And that, my friends, is the biggest fucking glaring problem in the black community when it comes to black on black fucking violence. You have a matriarchy of women raising little boys, letting them think that violence ain't that serious, but it really is. Because men and women live different fucking lives. That's why you have the father there to say, no, you are not going to pick up that gun and go shoot him. No, you are not going to go ahead and get into that fist fight. Or if you do, it's going to be a one-on-one and we're going to sanction this shit. Because men understand violence. Women don't. This is very fucking important for people to understand. Because when you have stupid-ass females raising little boys that don't understand violence properly, those boys think that they could do what women do and they can't. When men commit violence, we serve 60% more time. We get put on death row. We actually deal with consequences for doing stupid shit. Women don't. So your mom, that's acting like a dumbass, who raised you without a daddy, by the way, she's now subject to the same dire consequences when you do the same shit. And this is the sad part that no one knows or understands. And the boy, who will eventually become a teenager and a man, won't learn this until it's too fucking late. So when these stupid ass niggas want to come in here and tell me, Myron, we don't give a fuck about what you got to say because you're a tether, you're Sudanese, you're an Arab, you're not one of us. I say, good. I don't want to be y'all niggas. I'm just telling you what I see and what everyone else sees. I just have the balls to tell you that you're fucking stupid. And you're run by women, which is why you're stupid. But the black community don't want to hear shit from nobody unless your last name is Johnson and your first name is Tyreek. They don't want to hear shit. Nigga, you ain't one of us. Fuck y'all niggas, man. This is why nobody talks to y'all. If I'm be honest. Nobody wants to talk to these niggas, bro. Insufferable. No criticism. Everything is met with, you're racist, you're bigoted, you're a white supremacist. I can see why nobody fucking tries to help the black community. These dumbass niggas,
Well, we gotta help ourselves.
really? Really? You got a stupid ass freak Nick Sheed telling you that,
White supremacy. White supremacy.
and then I tell him, really? Let's talk about them boys. Nah, man, I ain't about to crash out. I showed you guys a clip yesterday. Right? Dr. Umar Johnson, fucking terrified. Because he knows I got the truth on my side, bro. These niggas just want to blame everybody else for their problems, and we're sick of it. We're really sick of it. Everyone's sick of it. I'm the only one that's telling you guys to your faces we're sick of it. But whatever. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. We're just going to keep laughing at you niggas, bro. Real talk.